Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Cade, welcoming the one and only Duck Commander Phil Robertson to In the Lab. I am such a fan of Duck Dynasty, Phil Robertson. I mean, I'm sitting with the Duck Commander. It doesn't get any better than that. And it's incredible because your show, your family, has become such a television phenomenon, the #1 unscripted show on television. And I had to ask you, what do you think it is about you guys? Why has Duck Dynasty become as popular as it has?
Well, when they pitched the show, I thought, well, the last thing people are going to do is watch a bunch of rednecks duck hunting. I said, do y'all really believe that will work? And they said, well, Ozzy Osbourne made it. And I'm like, there's hope for us all. So I think a lot of it is maybe the family connection, because in the South, we still gather up at supper time, we go out and kill things, bring it back. In the South, if you see something you can't identify in the air or coming through the woods, your first inclination is to kill it. The first question when you walk up there is, what is it? And the second question is always there, you reckon we can eat that? So we take it home and we eat it, Kate. Wouldn't you love to be down in there with us for a while?
We were just joking before we went live. Can you imagine me? I'm a very prissy human being. I couldn't hunt.
What was the word there?
Prissy.
Prithy.
And I have a lisp. And did you just make fun of my lisp?
Prithy, that's a little beyond my vocabulary. We kind of tend to say prissy, but you're not a prissy dude.
I don't even know how to respond to you right now. I'm so lost at this moment. But I did tell you I would absolutely go hunting with you. I would actually pay to go hunting with you because it looks, A, like so much fun, and B, educational, and C, I'd probably have a Dick Cheney thing happen and one of you would shoot me in the face or something. It would be horrendous.
Well, so have you ever taken like a shotgun and gone in the woods and hunted squirrels or ducks there, Kate?
I've tried shooting guns before and I'm the worst. I didn't realize how much blowback there is with guns and it totally freaked me out. So I'm definitely not meant to do what you guys do.
Trust me, if you came hunting with us, Cade, once we handed you a weapon, we would watch you like a hawk.
Speaking of cool things happening, you have this new memoir out, Happy, 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 My Life and Legacy as the Duck Commander. And it's interesting, Phil, because we get a taste of who you are on the show. But in the book, you actually give us a taste of pre-fame. Phil was pretty crazy, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Talk to me about
I'm
this.
a product of the 60s, and I didn't see the era of my ways. And, you just get tangled up in something and, it's, worry about yourself, basically selfishness, get drunk, get high, get laid, falling down, throwing up, cutting up, and shooting too many ducks, by the way. So after a while you say, I think I'm going to repent of all this. Miss Kay, and I have children coming on, so I saw the error of my ways, and now I follow the man from Galilee, and I am proud that I do. So basically, some of it out of the book, what you get, you got to remember, it's a probe of the redneck mind. And most people find that intriguing and a little perplexing, Arcade. So the bottom line is, peace of mind is a rare commodity.
You talk about how you have become, to a certain degree, a role model and how you don't want to be a preacher, but people do listen to your spewing of knowledge, especially faith-driven knowledge. Talk to me about, I guess at this point, being a role model.
Well, trust me, I'm not an ordained anything as far as, like a preacher, In other words, I couldn't marry you, Kate. It wouldn't be legal. But I'm just saying, I don't see the downside while we live our little life here on earth. We don't have long. I don't see the downside of loving God and loving your neighbor and staying in the woods, chasing critters and bringing them back and gathering your family up, thanking God for what he has given you, and we all eat together as a family. There's Mamaw and Papaw, and we have our children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. We all gather up and have a meal. Somewhere in there, Cade, that made a connection with America because, let's face it, our family structure in America
stinks.
It's not good.
It stinks.
Not good. So maybe that's the lure of the show. They say, we might ought to try just loving God and loving each other and taking your kids fishing and take them out in the woods, It's a lifestyle that will make you, in fact, happy, happy, happy.
we grew up with the Waltons and with the Griffiths.
Yeah.
And when we're watching the Robertsons, we're seeing that same dynamic occurring. The actual family, where you're coming downstairs and screaming at your grandchildren while they're playing Xbox.
Sure.
And that brings us back to the American history of the basic family. Did you guys know you had that formula happening when the show started?
We really didn't, but I think A&E, we filmed ourselves like duck hunting, and there would be some interaction between us, and old Si was in there, you know, acting crazy like he does. By the way, for you folks that are worried about wondering what Si is like, he's actually worse.
No way.
Than he is on the show. This
He's
guy,
pretty bad.
He's got more stories. But anyway, all that interaction with the family structure, A&E started looking at some of that. And I told A&E, I said, well, let me make a guess. Y'all had a big boardroom throwing around creative ideas. What's the next reality show going to be? And probably somebody stood up in the back and said, well, what about a functional family? And someone said, now, Bob, that is a novel idea, but where would you find one? Well, they got on the internet and they got to looking, and they saw a family group. Now, we're just who we are. I mean, that's not an act. What you see on the show, that's what we do. We gather up, you know, it's supper time, and Miss Kate fixes a big meal. We all gather all the children around. People come up there, you know, we have Bible studies, and we eat real good, you know, and we go hunting, we come back. But you say it's a lifestyle, but it's been, 40 years or so since the Waltons, and somewhere, you know, Andy Griffith, and maybe people are just kind of like to see a show without any vile language. We don't use profanity and all that stuff. Of course, we're Jesus people, so you know, the sound man came up there and told me, he said, you know, I've been around filming and getting sound on these shows all my life, all over the world. He said, I've never been around a family structure where I never hear any profanity. He said, none.
It's great. One of the things that I find so fascinating is here you have become a multimillionaire with this multi-million-dollar business in the creation of the Duck Commander Duck Call, but you were ahead of Terry Bradshaw at Louisiana Tech, and you were drafted ahead of him, and you just ran into him at an airport. Do you ever think back and think, what if Phil Robertson would have become an NFL quarterback?
Well, I actually wasn't drafted ahead of him, but I did get some offers after I decided to step out. I played ahead of Bradshaw, so I sat down on the bench in the locker room, and I said, Bradshaw, here's the deal. I said, you're a big, strong kid. I said, you got a strong arm. I said, you want to be in the NFL. You want to play football. He said, that's right. I said, you got brains? And he questioned me on the brains. He said, you reckon? I said, trust me, you have enough sense to win ball games. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step out, and that enables you to step up. I said, I'm going after the ducks, Bradshaw, full time. I said, I'd rather hunt ducks than have large, violent men paid huge sums of money to stomp me in the dirt. I said, I just think it'd be less stress. So I said, you go for it. I'll see you later. Listen, 44 years later, I didn't see the guy except on Sunday afternoon. I never saw the guy again. I left. I'm out of there. So Bradshaw goes on the NFL. Well, 44 years goes by. I'm walking in the airport, the LAX airport, and someone grabbed me from behind. I looked around, and it was Bradshaw. I said, Bradshaw, dude, you've done well, son. And he said, let me tell you how many bones they broke. And he went into his injury list. You know, they broke my back, they broke my neck, and all that stuff. And I said, Bradshaw, remember what I told you? I said, all I've done is stayed in the woods hunting ducks. He said, you've done pretty well, too. I said, we meet again. You did well, and I did all right, too. So that was the story between. Bradshaw's a good dude, by the way.
Your look is obviously one of the more popular signature looks on television these days. Is this part of your brand at this point?
Well, Cade, you have to remember something. Of course, I'm talking to a man such as yourself.
A prissy man, let's not forget.
Well, here's the deal. Women and youth have no beards. I am neither. See, you go along and you say, well, I think I'll scrape mine off. I'm just saying, I'm a creationist guy. I believe God made us. I'm looking at women, no whiskers. And a few girls in South Arkansas I saw one time that was an aberration. But I'm just saying, for the most part, if your family tree forks at all, women won't have whiskers, is what I'm trying to tell you. But what I'm saying is, I don't think the Almighty put them there, Cade, to be scraped off every day like you've done to yourself. Come on out with it, Cade, and get you some whiskers, and let's go duck hunting, son.
I can't breathe right now after your whiskers conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're beginning to bond. You know, Cade here. He's going with the whiskers, and he's fixing to break out. Get his shotgun and go duck hunting, you know, find him a duck-picking woman.
Can we make a deal on camera here that if I reach out to you guys, I can fly down to West Monroe and you're taking me duck hunting?
I want to take you duck hunting, and what we'll do is make an episode on the show. You know?
Dude,
Cade Nation comes to the swamp, you know, and you're down there, you know, you got you about a 3-day Yasser Arafat look, you know, not heavy, just a few, you know, Arafat used to have 4-day growth all the time. I said, hey, you do that.
We would break ratings records if you had to show me how to use a shotgun. I mean, I'm telling you, it would be, I would have it pointed at me, shooting myself. It would just be a complete disaster.
We would watch it closely. I always remember this. Someone says, how long have you been growing that beard? I said, I'm not growing a beard. It's doing that on its own. The Almighty gave me the whiskers. I'm going with them.
Your personality is so unique. This is who you are. Like, you're not just turning it on for camera. This is what's mind-blowing to me.
I'm telling you, Cade, you start running with us, this redneck stuff, it will creep up on you. You see what I'm saying?
What's been the celebrity interaction? Here's what we were just talking about. You guys have become this mainstream phenomenon. You're at the Academy of Country Music Awards. They're having you at these things now, the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
The president actually called
Is it mind-blowing?
Back in the deal, and he's got the security guards, you know, the guys will let in. So he goes back in there, and old Obama is shaking his head. He said, Willie, that's my son was there at the Correspondents' Dinner. He said, Willie, I watch your show all the time. He said, I'm telling you, dude. He said, it's just something about it I love, you know.
Is it surreal
so I told
to you?
Willie, I said, you reckon we could convert that guy? He said, yeah, we can convert him. I said, well, line up a Bible study with him. Good night. Not that he won't need one.
That is what this has made Duck Dynasty such a hit, is that, again, it's a redneck return to the Griffiths, and we're seeing that family dynamic, but in a very clean, we're trying to do good and run a business sort of way.
Look, the rehabs are full, the prisons are full, and you're like, you know, the mental wards are full, and you're thinking, folks, why don't we just try loving God and loving each other, and, you know, and having a good, tight family structure, and going to church together and singing, and it'll make you happy, happy, happy. They're like, really? So there we go.
Everybody check out Phil's memoir. Really incredible stuff. And obviously, Duck Dynasty just ended its past season. I cannot wait for the new season to start. I hope they keep you on for another 10+ seasons. You guys are really, it's an incredible show, and it's revolutionizing reality TV on so many levels. So
Holler
it's really
at us,
awesome.
Cade. We'll take you duck hunting.
With that being said, an honor to induct the one and only Duck Commander himself, Phil Robertson, into Cade Nation. You ready to do Cade out with me on 3? Cade out on 3. So I'll count to 3, and you're going to say Cade out with me.
I'm with you, dude.
Oh. I still can't get over the whiskers comment. That was amazing. 1, 2, 3.
Cade out!